Hi students, continuing the understanding of genetic organization of prokaryotes and eukaryotes, let's look at an example, and I'm going to take the example of coronavirus because it is something very crucial, and as you students will most probably work on this or even get to know more and more about this in the next weeks and years, it is very important for you to understand this. So, before we go on to the genetic organization, we need to understand why you would have that type of genetic organization. We all understand it is a RNA strand or genomic RNA given in the figure 1, if you see how it is arranged in the coronavirus. And this RNA is translated into the protein. So every component of this RNA is important to make a certain protein, right? So it has a certain function. And therefore, if you understand what kind of proteins does a coronavirus or COVID-19 needs, you understand what kind of component that the RNA strand will have. So, this is how a coronavirus looks like in figure 1, and we are talking about COVID-19, right? There will always be a spike glycoprotein on the surface of the virus. There will be an envelope small membrane protein on the membrane. There will be a membrane protein. There will be hemagglutinin esterases given in blue in the figure. There will be nucleoproteins because this is a prokaryotic, right, molecule. And there will be genomic RNA held together by this nucleoprotein. So just remember from the slide that we have abbreviated these different proteins by S, E, M, H, E, and N, right? We will be using this in the next slide. If you look at the second figure, because I've taken them from a paper, it's the figure 4 here. And if you look carefully, if the coronavirus comes in contact with our host cell, then the spike protein or the S protein attaches to the ACE2 receptor on the host cell and gets activated by the TMPR SS2 receptor. Right? Therefore, a lot of clinically approved medication or medication which is going into clinical trial is against TMPR SS2 because it gets activated in this process and therefore causes SARS-CoV-2 infection in lungs. So if you would inhibit this step, you would inhibit the infection of the lung cells, right? So this protein is definitely very, very important in this whole process. This would be called the phenotypic organization of the coronavirus. So now let's get on to the genetic organization. This is how we describe the genetic organization. If we look at the panel A, which is to the left of your screen, you are looking at a phylogenetic tree. Now, we have already discussed what is a phylogenetic tree before, but I will do this again as a reminder. The further away you are on the phylogenetic tree, the more dissimilar the genetic material is. This means that if we divide the coronaviruses into alpha covis, beta covis, gamma covis, and delta covis, then alpha covis are the most dissimilar with the delta covis because they are on both the corners of the phylogenetic tree. That also means that alpha covis are much more similar to beta covis than the gamma or delta covis. Right. So now if we look at the red text, which is 2019 nCoV or the COVID-19 virus, you see that it is much similar to the bat coronaviruses and the SARS-CoV and the MERS-CoV. SARS-CoV and MERS-CoV, if you remember, these are the ones that have already caused infection or outbreaks earlier 2005 and 2013. Right, so this is how we know the genetic organization, that they are in beta CoVs. Now, if we look at the panel B, if the black part that you see, this is the overlap or the multiple alignment of the structures of the genetic structures of these coronaviruses, then they always have a certain identity. That means that, for example, the first part, which is made of these PP1A and PP1B or polyproteins, they have an identity of 58%, while the identity of the later part, where most of these other proteins are, is around 43%. And if now we broaden this part or expand this part, which is shown in the bottom of this figure, you see that most of the differences actually lie in this part, right? The RNA of alpha CoV usually looks like this, the S3A 3B EMN. What does that mean? That means that the RNA that becomes S protein comes first, then comes 3A 3B EMN. Right, this is an example of the HCoV 229E. This is how the genetic organization is. For our interest, it's beta CoVs, and you can see that even then these parts are also different. So the one thing that you should notice is that the genetic organization varies even within the beta CoVs. Even if they are similar, the sequence is similar, the organization on the RNA is variable, right? So now if we go further in, because our goal is to understand the COVID-19, right? Here in the figure 3, you see the COVID-19 RNA sequence, then you see SARS-CoV, and then you see MERS-CoV. And as you can see, the 5' to 3', the non-structural polyprotein is very similar, right? Then we have the spike protein, and the major differences actually come in the organization of the E, M and N, or the parts in between, right? So this is the major difference, and this is what we call the genetic organization, and the protein organization leads to the phenotypic organization of the coronavirus, right? So I've also put the reference of the article. If you want to go and look at the reference and get more details, you can go into this reference, and I hope you now see the application of whatever you're learning in this class. Thank you.